Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Evening Bahamas coming up in our news tonight. Crystal Cruises set sail. We have the latest on Elsa. Exuma's economy on the rebound. Plus, meet this dynamic duo. Welcome to our News Weekend and thanks for joining us. I'm Georgie Bain, topping news tonight. Crystal Cruises' inaugural cruise around the Bahamas setting sail Saturday with 900 passengers on board. Tourism Minister Dionisio D'Aguilar says that he is hopeful that all islands will see the economic benefit from this historic cruise. Augustina Dragovic has more.
All of the passengers, I would say well in excess of 90% of the passengers on every one of the cruises that are coming home, ported or not, are in excess of 90% vaccinated. So if you're vaccinated, you're emboldened to explore, to come off and experience the destination. I mean, obviously, one of the main reasons you go on a cruise is to experience the destinations.
Tourism Minister Dionisio D'Aguilar hoping that 100% of passengers will disembark the Crystal Serenity to enjoy shore excursions and Bahamian culture as it makes its way through the Bahamas. Crystal Cruises Senior Vice President of Marketing and Sales, Carmen Roig, says she's confident that passengers are eager to explore the Bahamas given the pent-up desire to travel.
Absolutely, they will get off the ship. I'll even go a step further. Many are doing pre- and post experiences here in Nassau as well as in Bimini. So for us, it's a win-win.
The historic Crystal Cruises itinerary will stop in Great Exuma, San Salvador, Long Island, and Grand Bahama, with offerings Tourism Director General Joy Gibralou says will be a departure from typical cruise itineraries.
When they go to the family islands, they arrive at 7 a.m. in the morning and they don't leave until 7 p.m. at night. So that differs completely from the normal model of a cruise stopover, which is 6 hours, 7 if you're lucky. So people can get off and have a full day experience. That's going to be, some will have breakfast, lunch, and an early dinner.
Tourism officials expect the 4-month weekly sailings of Crystal Cruises will bring millions of dollars to the Bahamas. Reporting for our news, I'm Christina Dragovic.
Well, frustrating is how Tourism Minister Dionisio D'Aguilar is describing spikes in COVID-19 on family islands. This as business owners on Bimini recently found that the inaugural Crystal Cruise Serenity cruise through the Bahamas will not be in Bimini as planned. After a spike in cases sent the island back on curfew, Kit Island was also taken off the itinerary.
It's very frustrating. It is very frustrating. And for those of us that have been fully vaccinated, it's very frustrated when these spikes occur. And it drives home our message from the government, which is continuously to get vaccinated, because this is the result if you don't.
The government continues to encourage Bahamians to get vaccinated against COVID-19. So far, more than 30,000 people in the Bahamas have been vaccinated, still far below levels to achieve herd immunity.
Until we get fully vaccinated, this is just going to be how it goes. And until our levels get up to the desired 70-80%, there are going to be spikes from time to time.
As the country begins to rebound more than a year after the global pandemic, the Exuma MP is touting that the island's success has continued. Brittany McDermott has that.
Exuma MP Chester Cooper says the island's economy is perhaps rebounding faster than other family islands.
We are booming. Hotels are almost 100% occupied. Airbnbs are full. It's difficult to find a room in Exuma, difficult to get a rental car. Difficult to find employees, difficult to find housing on the island. We're really at maximum capacity.
The COVID-19 pandemic dealt a massive blow to the Bahamian economy, leaving thousands unemployed. Cooper said they're expecting this growth to continue and attributed the rebound to pent-up demand from American travelers.
I imagine that this growth is as a result of the pent-up demand in the United States, as a result of COVID, people having been locked down for quite some time. It's the usual summertime. And then, of course, we know that the Biden administration has been pumping a lot of money into the economy by way of stimulus. So people are taking vacations, and Exuma is the beneficiary in the main as a result of this.
The PLP deputy leader added the island sometimes sees up to 6 American Airlines flights per day, along with other international flights. He said the rebound is reason enough for more structural investment on that island.
This is why we need to invest in the infrastructure. This is why Exuma needs more of its tax dollars back. This is why we need the hospital fully functional, because with all of these tourists on the island, there will be accidents. Things will go wrong, people will get sick. And therefore, for the residents as well as the tourists, it is absolutely critical that this magnificent facility is given the resources.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Well, air traffic is taking off at Lynden Pinland International Airport. Our Christina Dragovich takes a look.
Nassau Airport Development's Director of Operations, Jonathan Hanna, says air travel took a hit in 2020, but over the past 6 months, there's been an incredible turnaround.
That's part and parcel to the vaccine rollout in the United States, where they've been doing such a great job, and that's our number one source market. So with all the lockdowns, the pent-up demand, because people couldn't travel last year, people are excited to get back on the road.
In June, LPIA hit a tremendous milestone, processing more than 9,000 departing and arriving passengers in one day. It's the sign that many in the tourism industry have been waiting on.
It's just showing that tourism is rebounding at a lot faster pace than we would have expected, or what the industry and experts think, but we're excited, and again, I think it positions us well for a faster recovery.
However, any type of travel during a pandemic is not without risk. Earlier this week, Pan American Health Organization Director Dr. Carissa Etienne expressed concern over the still imminent risk of infection. Hanna says the airport is still taking precautions to keep travelers and staff safe.
We're cleaning and sanitizing more. The terminals are still limited to ticketed passengers and essential airport workers only, just to give us a little bit more physical distancing.
LPIA won a Health Accreditation Award in 2020 for its implementation of health and safety standards. Hanna says the rebound is looking up as the airport prepares to welcome returning and new routes to Nassau throughout the summer and fall. Reporting for Our News, I'm Christina Dragovich.
As both Baha Mar and Atlantis mark highest occupancy levels since the start of the pandemic, Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar says the Family Islands aren't doing so bad either.
The Family Islands is a lot more resilient and probably bounce back quicker than Nassau. It's a smaller boutique type experience. As we always say, the Family Islands were ideally set up for social distancing. And so that's where they went to first. That is the component of our tourism infrastructure that bounced back first. And so they have been doing very, very well.
Harbor Island has been booming since spring break, with visitors choosing to go to high-end boutique hotels. De Aguilar said the demand has since picked up on other islands.
North Eleuthera, Bimini, even surprisingly, Abaco has been bouncing back quite quickly. When I spoke in Parliament, I would have said 27% of our foreign visitors that went to the Family Islands would have gone to North Eleuthera. 20% would have gone to Bimini. So there's a lot of people taking the boat across to Bimini. And then 19% would have gone to Abaco.
Thanks, Giorgio, and welcome everybody for your Sunday check on weather. Of course, we are still tracking Tropical Storm Elsa, churning out there between Jamaica and eastern portion of Cuba. Showers and thunderstorms starting to flare up with that system. It has weakened somewhat over the last couple of hours. It's now down to 60-mile-per-hour winds. It has also slowed down quite a bit, now moving towards west-northwest at 40 miles per hour. That interaction with the mountain range across Jamaica and eastern Cuba should weaken it somewhat some more, but we expect it to continue moving towards west-northwest. It's expected to move across central Cuba late this evening and into tonight and tomorrow, and continue to interact with the landmass, which will continue to keep it at bay. But we expect the system, once it gets back into the waters in Florida Strait, to slightly strengthen some more as it moves towards South Florida. Some of those showers affecting the southeast Bahamas, they will be moving into the central Bahamas. And of course, we have a line of showers flaring up across the northwest Bahamas. Those showers will continue over the next couple of days. Elsa will continue, as I mentioned, moving towards west-northwest. By tomorrow, we expect it to move over central Cuba and into the Gulf, the Florida Straits, and then to the west of Florida by Tuesday. And of course, we will continue to watch the system as it stays to the west of the Bahamas and lessens the effects across our area. Boating forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the southeast to south, 15 to 20 knots. Seas running 47 feet over the ocean. Caution flag for you here in the northwest and central Bahamas. Same thing in the southeast Bahamas. East to southeast flow, though, at 15 to 20 knots. Seas running 47 feet over the ocean. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Friday. That's a look at our weather. Have a safe weekend, everybody.
Still to come on our News the Weekend, why Anagua's administrator says the island's economy was blessed during the pandemic. That's coming up when our news returns.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
Well, last week was an exciting week for sports as the track and field championships and Rev swimming nationals took place simultaneously. At both events, two brothers were fighting for their chance to represent their country. Our Kyle Joaquin caught up with Ian and Cohen Kerr, who are making waves on the track and in the pool.
Come on, Ian. It's not every day you hear about siblings competing at the same time and in stadiums right next to each other. While 25-year-old Ian Kerr was competing at the Thomas E. Robinson National Track and Field Stadium last week, his twin Cohen was right next door, dominating in swim events.
Well, you know, it was always a goal of mine to swim at the highest level that I possibly could. And this past weekend showed me exactly that I know I always could do it.
It's more just trying to make the Olympic team specifically, because I know I can. So it was just a matter of going out there and executing my races. I didn't do so, but it just goes back to show how far I've come in the past few years. So it was just going out there and having some fun, really, and that's exactly what I did.
Cohen won the 100-meter freestyle, the first time he's won that event, and got second in the 250 freestyle, all best times for him. But athleticism runs through their blood. Both swimmers from childhood. They laugh about how one ended up doing track, while the other stuck to the pool.
We both did swimming up to one point. I didn't like it as much as he did, nor was I as good as he was, and he was always the superior athlete.
Humble athletes, these two brothers are working hard, pushing each other to be the best they can. For Ian, the journey of finishing the season continues, including his quest to get a contract. He believes having a positive mindset and outlook is everything.
My coach this year has really helped me with staying positive and moving on to the next race and not focusing on the past race. I have certain people who are around me, that I keep around me, that help me focus in on that and try to keep me optimistic about the next step.
If you talk to them, they tell you they're each other's #1 supporter. And the next move is to make things happen together.
Well, I know a big goal of ours is to go on a senior trip together. You know, we have yet to do that, but we have 1 or 2 meets in 2022 that we're looking forward to, that hopefully that we're on the same team for. But other than that, I know that I'll always have, if we're in the same area, I know that I can always have someone in the stands cheering for me.
We just talked about it yesterday, actually, about us making the Commonwealth 2022 team in Birmingham, England. And so that just keeps me going, knowing that I have my twin brother with me, and then I have such a solid foundation, whether it be my coach, my family, or anyone in my close circle that I can always depend on to keep me focused on the task at hand.
And now getting into this second half of 2021 and what's to come, we asked them if they were to choose one word to describe their mindset, what would that be?
Positivity, sure.
What about you?
I would say, I'd probably say the same thing, being positive and getting ready to go for the next year.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Anagua's economy was the most stable during the pandemic when compared to other islands, according to Administrator Marlon Larry. He says that low case numbers kept things running smoothly and the island's major employer never closed.
For the last few weeks, we would have had 1 or 2 cases. And then we were advising the people, like, hey, listen, we can't let our guard down. You know, we were COVID-free for a very long time. So we tell them, please, don't let your guard down. Continue to do your social distancing, sanitize, and all that kind of stuff. So
Inagua has a population of around 1,000, and according to Larry, its economy was predominantly fueled by Morton Salt Inagua plant.
basically, during this pandemic, Inagua fared well. Our economy was hardly affected because we have Morton Bahamas, and they were operating all through the pandemic, and they are like the lifeline for Inagua. In addition to a lot of the government departments, defense force, police, teachers, customs, immigration. So our economy we were doing good in Inagua. We are blessed, and I would say during this pandemic, I think we had maybe or possibly the best stable economy in the nation.
Well, when our news returns, we have young artists who are showing off their true colors. The details when our news returns.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
Well, nearly 70 students unleashed their inner artists during the BAF Financial Junkanoo and Goombay Art Competition. Vice President of Administration Deborah Parker said that the competition received an overwhelming show of support from students ages 6 to 14.
Back in 2020, when COVID first started, we realized that the students were compromised in terms of school interaction, etc. And then Christmas came, no Junkanoo. So we thought it fitting before the summer came this year that we would allow the students an opportunity to express themselves through art. Junkanoo and Goombay being celebrations during Christmas and summer. So we thought before the summer starts, let's do an art competition.
First and second place finishers in the age 11 to 14 category were excited to show their true colors.
And it feels really good to be the winner. It feels amazing, actually. And about my piece, I wanted to showcase Bahamian culture because I feel like not that many people do it anymore, and I wanted to show it with my own authentic twist.
I wanted to help inspire the children around the world to be an artist.
We also caught up with the enthusiastic top 3 finishers in the 6 to 10 category.
And this piece really symbolizes about the times of COVID now, and that we can still have hope through these times. And I feel pretty happy about being a first place winner, and I know it was a tough decision, and I'm glad they just picked me.
I feel great about coming 3rd place, and I wanted to do my art piece colorful because I thought it was cool.
I wanted to show people never to be scared of to do their dreams, and never let nobody take you down.
Well, still to come on our news, we count down the most memorable quotes of the week, so stay with us.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
Well, now it's time to recap the most memorable quotes and moments in news this week. The first quote comes from leader of the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union, Kyle Wilson, who explained why workers walked off the job this week.
People are working on engines by themselves in the middle of nowhere. No toilet. Sleeping in their car. Have to relieve themselves in bushes. There's a staff member who have claimed to be sexually harassed by another male staff member. He has claimed, it has been a claim, that he went to management and complained. And he said, as a result, he was victimized.
And the second quote came from a heartbroken father who remembered the life of his daughter who was gunned down on 1st Street last weekend.
Siobhan was my soul in Junkanoo. She was a good dancer. She liked the pace. She liked to have fun. You know, those kind of stuff was my daughter. She's a nice, loving girl. Anybody who meet her, would love her.
And this third quote comes from a taxi driver who lamented his distaste for weekly testing and the COVID-19 vaccine.
They really ain't taking these COVID every week, because that's what the drivers have to do. Every week they have to be taking the test. I'm going to see what's happening first, because I don't have no intentions of taking the vaccine.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Georgia Bain, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.